Hey everybody, so this is going to be the last lecture I'm going to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about your final exam and about the research paper. So also just so you know, I've pushed the research paper due date to the same day as the final exam. So they're both due Monday night before midnight, Tuesday morning. So yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. And I just want to say, I'm really proud of you guys. I've been reading your essay threes. I'm almost done with them, and it's just very clear that all of you have progressed so much in your writing. And I'm just really proud of you guys. You've worked really hard, and so you should be proud of yourselves. And then, as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over the research paper stuff that I posted really quick. So I'm gonna turn to Canvas. Okay, so I posted this little kind of guide for you guys on ways to organize your research paper. Now, this is optional, but I found that students really like it. This is going to look maybe different from other essays you've written in my class because it's a research paper and it's really an exploration. So I'm sure you're probably running into like, God, how am I going to organize this thing? And so maybe this could serve as a guide, but it's definitely not like the be all end all. You can, experiment with how you want to organize it the way you think is the most logical. But this is one way. Okay, so your introduction, right? And you don't have to follow the paragraph numbers, it's just there for a guide. But in your intro, you want to, pretend the reader knows nothing about your topic, let them know, what you're going to be looking at, and then let them know what your your questions are when you were going into the project. And then you want to kind of end with your thesis beginning, what you think, you were going to argue. Then in the next part, you want to do a brief summary. So, that gives the reader some information about like, what you're doing, like why you're planning on researching this, what are the questions you have, what are some different directions it could go, what are the different perspectives of the topic itself, and then that will lead into the overview of your research. This is like the stuff that you found. And then statement of your position. So in light of all the research, how has your opinion changed, or has it been more confirmed? So kind of let the reader know that. And then introduce any kind of objections or different perspectives. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a pro and con, but you want to have different perspectives on the issue. So say like you may have a medical professional or a PhD or an academic perspective. And then maybe you want to throw in, an ordinary person who has expertise in experiencing the issue itself, right? They don't have any like credentials, but they know, right? They've been through whatever this kind of topic is. That would be a good place to put those. And that would suffice for, opposing viewpoints. Then you want to kind of like sum up everything you found. And this is a good place to like ask questions that can be answered. Say there's another student that's taking over the topic. You want to kind of say, well, these are the things that I didn't get to explore that would be interesting to take off from. So kind of give the reader, say it's another student that's going to be talking about the same issue, talking about what they could do next. What are the next steps after the research you've done? So those are some areas that you can add. And then make sure you have your works cited page. I would just copy and paste your annotated bib. I'm going to be going through those this weekend and kind of giving you feedback. The big thing is making sure that you have at least 5 sources because that's the minimum requirement for this paper. So yeah, and then, go ahead and look at the example research papers that I posted so you can kind of see examples of what they look like. All right. Okay, now I want to talk about the final. So again, this isn't an exam. It's more of just you taking the culmination of everything you've learned. You're just going to do a revision. So you revise essay 1 to the midterm or essay 3. And then remember, to get credit, it needs to be something that I've graded and handed back to you. So it can't be an essay that you didn't turn in. If that's the case, you need to let me know, but that won't suffice for the final. You won't get credit. So just make sure it's something that I have given you feedback on and you can work with. Now, if you want to revise a revision that you did, that's okay too. But whatever you think is going to help boost your grade the most. And you want to make sure it is a revision. So you want to change probably 3/4 of it. So it needs to be a little different. It needs to show like what you've done, what you've learned. If it means updating some of the sentence style, if it means, adding transitions, stronger arguments, more evidence, whatever that might be, you definitely want to address those things. And obviously address all of my comments. So if I'm seeing that students aren't, changing things that I'm commenting on, that's not so good, right? You want to, I mean, spend a lot of time looking at those, so you want to address all of those things. And then you're going to upload a 1 to 2 page reflection in which you talk about what you learned through revision, and then the grade you believe that you deserve for it, and kind of give me some specifics about why. The cool thing about this is not only will you get 50 points for the revision for the final exam, right, if you do it well, but I'll also update the grade of your essay to reflect what the revision says. So like say you had an 89, you know, I will upgrade that, update the grade. Or if you had an unpassing paper, obviously if it's good enough, I would give you a new grade. So it's kind of a you know, it's a win-win. So to help explain how I want you to do this, you're going to be uploading 2 documents. One is going to be your paper with the revision comments, and then the other one's going to be reflections. So I'm going to go over that really quick. So let's say, so this is an old paper of mine from when I was in graduate school. Actually, wait, this is my undergrad. Anyway, so let's say this is a paper you did for my class, and I've asked you to change a bunch of stuff, right? So maybe I would go in and I'd say, okay, well, and you can do this in Word or on Google Docs, whichever one you want. I'm just going to do it in Google since I know a lot of students use it. So then I would add this comment, and I would say, changed to address prompt, right? Comment. Okay, and then maybe I asked you to change the topic sentence, and so you say changed topic sentence. The reason I'm asking you to comment is it makes it easier for me to grade it, so that I see what you've done and the changes that you've made. So everything you change, make sure you mark. Maybe this whole area I would just like, you know, added more analysis, right? Maybe I did something like added a source, right? Okay, good. So when you're done with all of your revision notes, you are going to download this as a PDF. Sorry, I know I have you guys usually do docs, but PDFs are easier for me to see your comments. So I'm going to download it as a PDF. It's going to take a moment. I'm going to click on it. Okay, great. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it onto my computer. Come on now. And I'm just going to title it with my name and final revision. All right, I'm going to save that on my desktop. Okay, now let's pretend this is my reflection as well, right? Because you're going to want to upload both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this. You can do PDF, you can do doc, whatever you want, because I'm not going to be putting comments on these. So I'm going to save as Walmany reflection desktop. Okay, boom. All right, great. So now I'm going to kind of show you how you can upload this because it might be a little confusing. So, all right, so here is the final exam. All right. So you'll go to submit assignment when you're, you know, obviously ready. And what's really cool is, and I would suggest you use the file upload instead of the Google Drive connector because sometimes there's issues. But what's cool is that you can add 2 files because I'm asking you to turn in 2 things. So I'm going to turn in the reflection, and I'm also going to turn in, where is it? Yeah, my revision. Okay, good. So now I've done both of those, and then I would just submit. Okay, so that's how you turn in more than one file, and you can keep adding, but you only need to do 2. All right. So a few other questions that students had that I want to address just really quick. So some of you were asking me how, like, you had like a chart or a graph that you wanted to talk about in your research paper, and you're like, how do I add that in? We don't want to like physically put it in your paper. But what you could do is, like, let's say here I described the chart, right? So I would go over here, and what's cool is you could do, I think it's an insert. Yeah, footnote. So you want to add a footnote. And so what's really cool is it puts a little number next to, so you'll see it right here. And then at the bottom, I would say something like, see Figure 1 in works. cite it. And then what you could do is, I'm just gonna like take some rando picture of a cat or something. And I'm going to copy it onto my computer. Let's see. Sweet, why not? Let's steal that cat. Oh my gosh, okay, cool, all right. Picture is on my desktop. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my works cited page. Okay, and it's gonna say figure 1. And then maybe I'm going to get that cat. Let's see if I can find it on my computer here. Cat, where are you? There you are. Okay, cool. Found it. Boom. So obviously yours may not be a cat, but then you want to say where you got it. So image from, or I guess in this case you're doing a chart. So it'd be chart from, I don't know, cats.com, wherever it is that you got it from, New York Times, whatever it might be. Okay, so that's how you would use images or figures or things in your paper. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So if you guys have questions, please let me know. Sorry this is such a long video, but yeah, I wish you guys the best, and hopefully talk to you guys soon. All right.